More than 2,300 years ago, deep inside a silent hill in India, someone carved rooms out of solid granite, not limestone, not soft rock, granite, one of the hardest stones on earth. And then they did something even stranger. They polished the inside walls so perfectly that they still shine like mirrors today. No visible chisel marks, no unfinished scratches, just smooth black stone reflecting light in the darkness. The question is simple. How did ancient people achieve this level of precision more than 2 millennia ago? And the answer might be far more mysterious than anyone expected. In the quiet hills of eastern India lies a place few people truly understand. The ancient caves known as the Barabar Caves. At first glance, they appear simple. Just a few rock-cut chambers hidden inside massive granite hills. But step inside one of these caves and something feels different. The walls are impossibly smooth. The ceilings curve perfectly. Sound echoes in strange and haunting ways. And the stone reflects light like polished glass. These caves are not just old. They are engineering masterpieces that challenge what we think ancient civilizations were capable of. The Barabar Caves were built around the 3rd century BCE, during the reign of the powerful Mauryan Emperor Ashoka. Ashoka ruled one of the largest empires in ancient India. His kingdom stretched across most of the subcontinent. He was known for his military power, but he later became famous for spreading peace and supporting spiritual traditions. The caves were gifted to a group of ascetic monks known as the Ajivikas. These monks followed a mysterious philosophy that believed fate controlled every event in the universe. They lived simple lives, meditated in silence, and sought isolation from the outside world. But this raises the first strange question. Why were caves built with such extraordinary precision for monks who lived in extreme simplicity? Most ancient meditation caves are rough and natural, carved quickly and left unfinished. But the Barabar Caves are different. They look almost modern. To understand how unusual they are, you have to look closely at the material they were carved from. Granite. Granite is extremely hard. Even today, it requires powerful machinery and diamond tools to shape it easily. But more than 2,000 years ago, metal tools were primitive. Iron tools existed, but they were not nearly strong enough to polish granite to a mirror finish. Yet somehow the builders achieved exactly that. Inside caves like Sudana Cave and Lomas Rishi Cave, the walls shine like dark glass. When light touches the surface, it reflects clearly. Some researchers call this the Mauryan polish. But that name does not explain how it was actually done. Even more mysterious is the acoustic effect inside these chambers. If you clap your hands inside the cave, the sound does not fade quickly. It travels. It echoes. It vibrates around the curved granite walls. Some visitors say it feels almost like standing inside a giant stone bell. Imagine monks sitting in complete darkness, chanting, listening to their voices echo endlessly in polished stone chambers. Was this acoustic effect intentional? Or was it simply an accidental result of the design? The caves themselves are also shaped in unusual ways. Most of them have 2 connected chambers. The first room is rectangular with a curved ceiling. The second room is perfectly circular or oval. The shapes are extremely symmetrical. And here comes another strange detail. The transition between the 2 chambers is incredibly precise. The curves are smooth and mathematically consistent. For structures built in the 3rd century BCE, this level of geometry is astonishing. Archaeologists believe thousands of workers must have spent years carving these spaces by hand. But even with years of work, there is still a problem. How did they polish granite so perfectly? One theory suggests they used sand and water as abrasive materials. By rubbing the stone for years, they could slowly smooth the surface. But experiments show this would take an unbelievable amount of time, possibly decades for a single chamber. Another theory suggests specialized metal tools that have not survived through history. But so far, no evidence of such advanced tools has been found from that period. And then there is the most controversial idea. Some researchers believe the builders used techniques that modern historians still do not fully understand. Not supernatural methods, but lost technologies. Ancient knowledge that disappeared over time. When explorers first examined the caves closely in the 19th century, they were stunned by the quality of the stonework. British archaeologists wrote that the polish looked almost identical to the finish found on the famous Ashokan pillars. These pillars were massive stone columns placed across the Mauryan Empire. They were also made of incredibly polished stone. And just like the caves, no one knows exactly how the polish was achieved. Even more intriguing is the unfinished cave nearby known as Lomas Rishi Cave. This cave gives us a glimpse into the construction process. The entrance is beautifully carved. It features one of the earliest examples of the famous Chaitya arch design, a curved decorative shape that later became common in Indian temple architecture. But inside the cave, something changes. The interior is rough, unpolished, and incomplete. It looks as if the workers suddenly stopped and never returned. Why? Historians have debated this question for years. Some believe the project was abandoned after Emperor Ashoka died. Others think political or religious changes ended the construction. But this unfinished cave shows something very important. The polishing was the final step. The stone had to be carved first, shaped carefully, and only then polished into the mirror-like surface we see today. And that final step is the biggest mystery of all. Even modern engineers find it difficult to replicate the same finish on granite without advanced tools. But the ancient builders achieved it consistently across multiple caves. Another curious detail lies in the inscriptions found inside the caves. Some of the caves contain carvings from Emperor Ashoka himself. These inscriptions confirm that the caves were donated to the Ajivika monks. But later rulers also left inscriptions. Hundreds of years after Ashoka, during the Gupta Empire, new texts were carved into the same caves. This means the caves continued to be used for centuries. Generation after generation of people entered these polished chambers, meditating, praying, listening to echoes bounce across stone walls that had already existed for hundreds of years. Imagine standing inside one of these caves 2,000 years ago. No electric light, no outside noise, only darkness and polished granite reflecting the faint glow of a small flame, your voice echoing endlessly through the chamber. It must have felt almost supernatural, which leads to another question. Were these caves designed only for meditation? Or did they serve another purpose we do not yet understand? Some researchers have suggested that the caves may have been used for sound experiments or ritual chanting. The acoustic resonance inside certain chambers is unusually strong. Specific tones can create powerful vibrations that travel through the entire room. Modern visitors have noticed that even a small sound can fill the chamber instantly. Was this intentional? Did the builders understand acoustic science thousands of years ago? Or was the effect discovered accidentally after the caves were completed? There is another twist in this story. The Barabar Caves are not the only caves with this mysterious polish. Nearby, in the Nagarjuni Hills, there are additional caves built slightly later. These caves also have polished interiors, but the quality is slightly different. The polish is still impressive, but not quite as perfect as the earliest caves. Some historians believe this suggests the original craftsmen possessed special skills that were gradually lost over time. As generations passed, the techniques became harder to reproduce, and eventually the knowledge disappeared completely. If this is true, it would not be the first time humanity lost advanced craftsmanship. History is filled with forgotten techniques. Ancient Roman concrete that modern engineers still study. Damascus steel swords with patterns that cannot be easily recreated. Architectural methods used in massive pyramids and temples. The Barabar Caves may belong to the same category. A reminder that ancient civilizations were often more sophisticated than we imagine. Yet even after decades of research, many questions remain unanswered. How were these caves carved so precisely into solid granite? How did ancient workers polish stone to a mirror finish without modern machinery? Why were such advanced structures built for monks who lived extremely simple lives? And perhaps the most intriguing question of all, if ancient craftsmen once knew how to do this, why did the knowledge disappear? Today, the Barabar Caves remain silent. Tourists visit occasionally. Scholars continue to study them. Photographs capture their strange beauty. But the polished granite walls still reflect light, just as they did more than 2,000 years ago. Perfect, smooth, mysterious, almost as if the stone itself is guarding a secret from the past, a secret about human skill, lost knowledge, and the incredible abilities of ancient builders. So the next time someone says ancient civilizations were primitive, remember this. More than 2,000 years ago, someone stood inside a hill of solid granite and turned it into a perfectly polished chamber that still shines today. The tools they used remain unknown. The technique remains unexplained. And the mystery continues. But here is the most fascinating thought of all. What if the builders of the Barabar Caves were not doing something impossible? What if they simply understood stone in a way we have forgotten? And if that knowledge once existed, how many other lost technologies might still be hidden somewhere in history? Let me know what you think. Were the Barabar Caves the result of patience and human skill alone? Or do they point to knowledge that vanished from our world long ago? Tell me your theory in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring ancient mysteries like this, subscribe to the channel, because some of history's greatest secrets may still be waiting to be discovered.